Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Tuesday, which means it's time for a Magic News. I hope you have had an amazing Easter. I hope you've had a great bank holiday over here in the UK. I had a fantastic time with my family. I hope you guys did as well. I'm actually working from home today, and it's a really bright day. So I'm kind of in the man cave at the bottom of my garden, and I'm filming this here. With the bar behind me, so it's a bit of a weird shot, but it needs must. It was the only way to get a video out today because I'm working from home. Anyway, hope you guys are having an amazing day. If you've never seen a Magic News on Magic TV before, the idea is very simple. I'm going to bring to you all the news that's happened over the course of the last week and highlight some tricks that have recently just been announced that I've not seen yet. This is not a review, but stuff that looks pretty good that I want to draw your attention to based purely off the ad copy and the trailer. There's a fair bit of stuff going on in the Magic community this week, and so we are going to get straight into it. Now, don't forget, if there's a particular news you want me to talk about, leave it in the comments to this video. I will get to it next week. But without further ado, we're going to get straight into it. Let's have a look at this week's Magic News. Okay, so first up, you've probably noticed that there are a ton of people posting on their social media, on Facebook and Instagram, pictures of them dressed as kind of what looks like a medieval knight. And it says underneath, the Noble One. And some of the biggest names in Magic, people like Jeff McBride, people like John Archer, have been posting these pictures online. And some of you might be wondering, what's this all about? Well, this is about the Noble One, which got pre-released at Blackpool. It's officially getting released on the 25th of April, and it is the latest trick coming from the creative minds of Mark Bennett and the marvellous Matthew Wright. Now, the Noble One follows on from a bunch of other routines that Mark and Matthew have done. The Queen's Nose, the Noble 52, what was the other one? Noble 52. There was the Billy the Kid one. Can't remember the name of that. But this is the latest in that line of things, and I've seen it, and I think it's absolutely amazing. I think it's really, really good. It's one of the best card reveals I've ever seen, and really ties into the mythology that Mark and Matthew created when they came up with the King's Secret, the Noble 52. Now, I've got an interview going up with them in a few days that's going to be talking about the Noble One and what it is and what it does and so on and so forth. But it's worthwhile that you guys know that there is a competition running at the moment. Mark Bennett has posted in the Blackpool Magicians Club and in Magicians Only how to enter this competition. And the idea is basically you have to like your favourite picture that has been created and comment on it, and then you get entered into a draw, and you've got to do that by, I think, the 24th of April, and the winner is going to receive a Noble One for free. So that's what all of these AI images are going on about. It's a fantastic marketing idea by Mark and Matthew, and the trick itself is exceptional as well. So if you want to enter the competition, you can do so by checking out Mark Bennett's socials, but it's all going to go live on the 25th of April. Check it out. It's an amazing trick. It's next weekend, or this weekend in about 4 or 5 days, is the 2025 Enchanted Rabbit Wizards Weekender Convention. This is one of the best deals in Magic as far as I'm concerned. The ticket prices are very, very cheap. You've got a gala show on the Saturday night. You've got a kids show on the Sunday night. You've got a ton of lecturers over the Saturday and the Sunday. There's a jam session on the Friday night. They've got some incredible names. They've got Katie Trickett, Chris Congreve, Nicola Arcane, one of my favourite magicians of all time, Julio Minero, who is the Sponge Balls expert. I'm going to be there doing a lecture, and I'm also going to be on the gala show, and I rarely do gala show performances. I typically just do lectures and close-up performances at Magic conventions. Ryland's going to be there doing his act, and it's not going to be the Harry Potter act. He's going to be doing something different. And there's it's literally a who's who. It's going to be incredible. So I think there's tickets left. If you want to go to what I think is one of the best values in Magic right now, and you want to spend a weekend with me and Ryland, Chris Congreve, and a whole bunch of other people, then you need to go to the Enchanted Rabbit Wizards Weekender Convention. It's taking place this weekend, which is the 25th, 26th of April. Me and Ryland are going to be arriving now on sort of the Friday afternoon. We'll be in the bar. Ryland's going to be getting drunk. I'm going to be staying sober. So if you want to come and join in and jam with me and Ryland and everyone else, come along. There's tickets still available. If you're not doing anything this weekend, why don't you come up and hang out with us? Now, I do want to talk about somebody who I consider to be an absolutely incredible performer, and I very much doubt anybody watching this will disagree with me, Mario the Maker, who is going to be appearing back in London for 2 dates only. If you've not seen Mario the Maker's show, it is incredible. A lot of people consider him to be one of the best, if not the best, family entertainer in the world. Well, he is back at the Underbelly Boulevard in London on the 26th and the 27th of July. That's the 26th, 27th of July at the Underbelly Boulevard in London. Make sure that you go and check that out because Mario the Maker is exceptional. And, it's not a lecture. It's not a lecture that he's doing. But if you want to see something that truly is exceptional and you want to go and watch a performance that will blow you away, Underbelly Boulevard in London, 26th, 27th of July. And that is the Mario the Maker show. Now, talking about London, I talk on this channel quite a lot about Russ Brown's House of Secrets in Blackpool. Myself and Ryland perform there an awful lot. Ryland's one of the resident magicians at the House of Secrets. Well, Russ Brown is one of my favourite magicians of all time. And as well as being an incredible close-up magician, a great stage magician, he's also a great kids entertainer, a great family show entertainer. And he's taken his show on the road. If you aren't planning on going to the Enchanted Rabbit convention this weekend and you want to do something else and you've got kids, then why don't you head down to the Magic Circle? The Magic Circle have been running semi-regular sort of family entertainer spots on a Sunday morning for a while now. And they're running another one this Sunday. And Russ Brown is travelling all the way from Blackpool all the way down to London to do it this Sunday. So if you want to see Russ Brown's show, and I'm telling you right now because I've watched him many, many times, Russ Brown's show is brilliant, then go head down to London. Go head down to the Magic Circle. Tickets are available on the website. And whether you've got kids or not, honestly, Russ's show is one of the best you'll ever see. It's a masterclass in how to perform to adults and kids in the same show. It's absolutely brilliant. So he'll be at the Magic Circle headquarters this Sunday. Go check him out. Okay, so I can't really talk too much about this at the moment, but I do want to kind of briefly mention the 1914. And the reason I want to mention it is a lot of people have messaged me, a lot of people have commented on various different YouTube videos that I've put up, asking me if I know anything about the 1914. And the reason that people have been asking that is it's been about 6 months into the 1914 have put a new trick out, and they're very prolific. Normally, and so why has it been 6 months? And a lot of people have noticed that Dee is in Vegas at the moment, performing in Vegas. Dee Christopher, obviously one half of the partnership that runs the 1914. Well, there's stuff that's in the works, there's stuff that's happening. I can't talk about it right now, but what I can say is things are changing slightly at the 1914. Some people would say it's changing in a very positive direction. And although I can't say much, my advice would be to follow the 1914 socials. Make sure that you follow the 1914 on social media, because there is an announcement coming soon, and it's going to be an interesting announcement. Whenever it's officially announced, I will be talking about it on Magic News. But for now, all I can say is follow the 1914 on their socials. There are changes afoot. As you know, 1914 have been responsible for some of the best tricks that have ever come out. Their Eclipse ESP marking system is legendary. Their Orphic wallet is my everyday wallet. And, the stuff that they bring out is incredible. So watch the socials for the 1914, because I think you're going to be seeing an announcement sooner rather than later. Okay, let's talk about America. Let's talk specifically about the Magic Castle. The Magic Castle have just announced the finalists in their four big sort of awards that take place every year. These are very prestigious awards. You've got the Close-Up Magician of the Year, the Parlour Magician of the Year, the Stage Magician of the Year, and the Lecturer of the Year. And every single year, these awards are very, very hotly contended, and it's a very prestigious award for even being nominated for, let alone to win. And they've just announced the finalists for each category. So it's worth actually letting you know who's in it. So the finalists for the Close-Up Magician of the Year are David Regal, Alfonso Zabreski, R. Paul Wilson, and El Ropo. Okay. The Parlour Magician of the Year, you have Greg Wilson, again, El Ropo, John Armstrong, Paul Virgil, and Siegfried Taiber. For the Stage Magician of the Year, you have Justin Willman, Jonathan Levitt, David Koval, Tina Lennart, and Arthur Trace. And then finally, for the Lecturer of the Year, we have Howard Hamburg, again, R. Paul Wilson, who we got here, Mike Piscicota, Eric Jones, and John Gustafaro. So they are your nominees for the Close-Up Magician of the Year, Parlour Magician of the Year, Stage Magician of the Year, and Lecturer of the Year. It's always a very prestigious event. I believe it's taking place in the first weekend of May, and they will be announcing the winners shortly after that. Congratulations to all the people that have reached the finals. Congratulations for all the people that have been nominated. I mean, that's a huge achievement in its own right. There you go. If you're a Magic Castle member, let me know who you're hoping to win in this year's awards. Okay, so some tricks that I have seen that have just been released and that I'm not reviewing yet. I obviously will get around to a review at some point, but these are things that have really stood out as items that have hit the Magic community that look very interesting. First of all, we've got the Quemiza box by Hernan Melirano. Now, this is a trick that fooled Penn and Teller, or he performed it on Penn and Teller. I saw the performance the other day. A friend of mine, Afir, actually told me about this performance, and he owns the trick. Very, 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 very good coin routine. Absolutely exceptional. Well, that has been released through Murphy's Magic to all dealers, and it's a coin box routine. I'm not going to say any more. You can go and look at the Fool's performance if you want to, but this is something that I think that a lot of people will love. So if you like coin box magic, that's something to look out for. Also, something else that's been announced is the Midnight Sessions by the Unnamed Magician and Ryan Schultz. Now, Ryan has made a name for himself as being an expert when it comes to self-working magic and magic that doesn't require any skill. Well, he has produced, on behalf of the Unnamed Magician, a book called The Midnight Sessions, which is a collection of routines that the Unnamed Magician has created. If you don't know who the Unnamed Magician is, he has released several tricks on the library platform, and none of them I've seen. I've watched some trailers, and honestly, it's not been my sort of thing from the trailers. I haven't picked it up. It's been a bit underwhelming. It doesn't hit the spot where it comes to the type of magic that I want to perform. But it is very, very clever, and a lot of people, especially on the Magic Cafe, rave about the material from the Unnamed Magician. So Ryan has put the Midnight Sessions together, which is a collection of some of the best routines off the library platform, as well as previously unreleased items as well. It looks very interesting, and if you're into self-working magic, self-working card magic specifically, this might be the sort of thing that you want to look at. Also, Mark Lemon has released Argon. Now, Argon is his take on sort of calculator style magic, but he's dealing specifically with the iOS 18 upgrade. So if you don't know, Toxic, which magicians performed for years and years and years, was made unable to be performed when iOS 18 came into force. It didn't do what it needed to do to be able to continue to use Toxic. So there's a lot of magicians out there that relied on Toxic, and now that is no longer an option. You can't use Toxic anymore to be able to perform any of the routines that you were able to perform back in the day. Now, there's been a few workarounds for this. Pete Turner and Pigcake have released a project on calculator magic with an iOS 18 upgrade. Michael O'Brien has actually put something together as well. However, this is Mark Lemon's take, and it's a bunch of routines and tricks and ideas all using an iPhone calculator. Seems very, very interesting. Obviously, I've not seen it, but Mark Lemon is a very clever magician and something that probably we should check out. Gustavo Raleigh, who is a very well-known creator, has brought many, many things out over the years, has just brought out Woopack and Donut Box. And both of those are, there's no trailers to them, unfortunately, so I'm not really 100% sure what they are. What I will tell you is Gustavo's stuff is always very, very clever. Gustavo has a habit of making very visual magic. A lot of TikTokers, a lot of people who do short form content on the internet, people like the Dan Rhodes and James Samuels and so on and so forth, they gravitate towards a lot of Gustavo's stuff because it's perfect for that medium. Having said that, a lot of Gustavo's stuff works in the real world as well. So it's going to be very interesting to see what he's come up with. Any time he releases something, I sit up and pay attention, especially for kids show entertainers, because a lot of the stuff that he does has that really special visual quality that kids entertainers are looking for. Also, something else I saw that grabbed my attention was Andre Pravati, who has just released something called Super Tic Tac. Now, this is his take on the Tic Tac in Tic Tac container plot, which has been around for years. I remember Magic Box bringing out one of the first versions of this many, many years ago, using kind of a shell that fits onto any Tic Tac container. And there's been many, many other versions over the years. Well, this is a very no-holds-barred trailer, straight to camera. It doesn't look like it's edited in any way. It's kind of very interesting. You take a coin, you have a coin signed, and you hold a card box. And then what you do is you take the card box and you take the coin and you go boom. And you apparently push the coin into the card box. And what happens is you show your hands empty, you open up the card box, and when you do, you take out a Tic Tac container. Once you took out the Tic Tac container, they can see there's something inside the Tic Tac container, and it looks like their coin, their signed coin. You open up the Tic Tac container, and inside is a tiny little Ziploc bag. And when you open up the Ziploc bag, that's their signed coin. It's very much like a modern, it's very much like a modern version of the, coin in nester boxes, that sort of thing. And obviously, this isn't the first approach to this. I've seen many different ways of doing that. David Penn has just re-released the Vault 2.0, which is his take on coin in nested boxes and trying to make it more up to date by using a key fob. But this is kind of a nice, interesting approach as well. This is not a review. I don't know if it's practical or not, but looking from the trailer, it looks really good. One last thing that I want to talk about as well, and very briefly, because I did a video on this, is Your Round by myself and Mark Bennett has officially been released. So Your Round is a way of telling people or predicting exactly what drink they're going to think of. It's a set of gimmicked beer mats that you can put into your pocket and you're ready to go anytime, anywhere. It uses a classic principle that's been bought bang up to date. Everyone who's bought it is raving about it, which is amazing. Monster Magic have just given it a great review as well. Thank you very much, Alex, for that review. And I did a full exposure video on it last week. So if you want to know exactly how this works and you want to know how it works so you can decide whether to buy it or not, go look at that exposure video. But it's by myself and Mark Bennett. It's already sold out at Murphy's once. It's being restocked, but I think we're very limited on stock at Mark's end as well. So there you go. That is Your Round by myself and Mark Bennett. That's been released now. And just so you guys know, my book Absolute Madness, which was ghostwritten by Eric Tate and produced by Penguin Magic, is now available to buy and will be shipped immediately. It was on pre-order for a very long time. It spent about 2.5 months on pre-order, which is very frustrating, not just for me, but for everybody else who went and pre-ordered it. But it's now off pre-order. They have them in the warehouse and it's available for immediate delivery. This is a collection of what I think is the best material I've ever created. And I'm not the only person to say that. Everyone who's bought the book has said the same thing as well. The essays in there are amazing, at least I think so. I've literally not held anything back, and I've gone through exactly how my creative process works, how to market a magic trick, how to get more gigs, build a bigger business, that sort of thing, how to raise a magical kid. I think I'm one of the only people that can confidently talk about that subject. So Absolute Madness is available now. I guarantee you, I give you a personal guarantee that you will love the material in Absolute Madness. I've poured my heart and soul into it. It's been a lifelong ambition of mine to have a book out, and thank you to Eric Tate and Penguin Magic for making that happen. If you want to buy it, I assume eventually it'll be available from people that wholesale from Penguin, but for now it's only available from Penguin Magic. That's Absolute Madness, the book by myself and Penguin Magic. Okay, we've got some more news. First of all, I am going to tell you another magic convention that I'm going to be at, not as a lecturer, just as a punter. On Monday the 12th and Tuesday the 13th of May, they are holding the Tricks in the Sticks Magic Convention. It's being held in Staffordshire, and it is the #1 magic convention in Europe for kids and family entertainers. Tickets are £100. It's one of the funnest. It's one of the most friendly conventions you'll ever be a part of. Myself and Nemid Phoenix are going up there. So if you would like to go up to a really awesome magic convention, even if you're not a family entertainer, you're going to have an absolute blast. It is a really good convention, and they've got some fantastic lecturers there this year as well. So that's Tricks in the Sticks. You can get tickets directly from Tricks in the Sticks. It's less than a month away before it happens, and I guarantee you're going to have a great time. So Tricks in the Sticks, 12th and 13th of May. Tickets available from the Tricks in the Sticks website. Okay, a little bit of a tease. I've heard on the rumour mill that Trick Trick Boom are teaming up with a big creator in the magic industry to bring out an effect which is a really offbeat, off-the-wall packet trick. Now, I can't say too much about this. Trick Trick Boom have obviously only been around for a couple of years. Trick Trick Boom, owned and operated by Noel Coulter and Roddy McGee, and they have been making waves in this industry. They have released banger after banger after banger, and they continue to get people to turn heads, and for good reason. Their stuff is super commercial, super clever, and their marketing is absolutely on point. If you saw them at the Blackpool Magic Convention, you know that they were absolutely dominating, as they always do. Well, most of the stuff, if not all the stuff that they've released up until this point, has been from Noel or Roddy, and I have heard that they are teaming up for their first collaboration with somebody who is not Roddy McGee and Noel Coulter. As I said, this is a big name in magic, somebody who has released magic in the past and has chosen to work with Trick Trick Boom on this particular product. I have seen the trick. It is a packet trick, but it's unlike any packet trick you've ever seen before. As you know from anything that Noel Coulter and Roddy McGee have brought out, their stuff is always super visual. Their stuff is always kind of off the wall. It's a little bit different. And this packet trick is no different. I think it's going to be something that a lot of people are going to really love performing because it's magical, but it's got an interesting hook as well. So keep an eye on the Trick Trick Boom socials. I have been told that they are going to have an unofficial launch of this trick on at Magic Live. So at Magic Live, they're going to have an unofficial launch if all of the T's are crossed and all of the I's are dotted and so on and so forth. So look out for that. I can't tell you what it's called because I don't know, but you'll see, you'll know, and I think it's gonna continue to cement Trick Trick Boom's position in the magic community. Talking about the rumour mill, I've heard that Mario Lopez has a new trick coming out from Penguin Magic very, very soon. Obviously, Mario's been doing a few things with Penguin Magic. The Penguin Magic Live came out recently, which has had rave reviews. Missing Finger got released later, sort of November last year. That had great reviews. Well, I've just seen a trailer for the new Mario Lopez Penguin collaboration, and it is fire. It is absolutely amazing. It uses a balloon, as you would expect with anything with Mario Lopez. It's completely off the chart bonkers, but it's very, very clever. You remember that old trick where you take a cherry and you tie a cherry in, you tie the stalk of a cherry in a knot in your mouth, and no one can understand how that works? It kind of reminds me of that in a way, in that it's a magic trick that people are going to be blown away by, but it's also something that you could say is a demonstration of skill, even though it's not. And it's a great lead into anything with a balloon. I don't want to say too much more, but having seen it, it's going to be big, I think. So I know it's going to be very imminently released from Penguin Magic, so look out for it. It's the latest collaboration between Penguin Magic and Mario Lopez, and I think it's one of Mario's best releases yet. Okay, so I want to talk about a couple of other things very, very quickly. And the next two items, which are the final two items of the Magic News, both kind of have the same issue at heart, in my opinion. And they're both not positive pieces of news in a way. And I think that it's the same issue behind both of them. So let me talk about the first one first, and then tell you what the issue is, and then I'll explain what the second thing is. So the first piece of news involves Inject. Now, as you know, or maybe you don't know. So to give you a few seconds backstory, Inject has always been considered one of the best Magic app releases ever made. It is integrated into most apps, and most apps will use Inject in order to allow something to happen. Inject has been used and performed by magicians all over the world. Well, earlier this year, as I reported on Magic News, Inject went down and then went back up again, and then went down and went back up again, and went down and went back up again. And this happened over the course of about 2.5 months, where they were fixing Inject, and then Google took it down and then put it back up and then took it down. The workaround they have at the moment is that Inject is back up, but one of the elements of Inject, which is the Google peak. Now, I don't use Inject. I bought it, but I just don't use it. So I've got no dog in this fight at all, to be perfectly honest. But one of the most popular parts of Inject, which is the Google peak, is no longer working at the moment. And there have been several workarounds, including buying another app by Greg Rostami called Realist, which kind of achieves the same sort of thing. But at the moment, Inject is back up, but they've had to make some compromises with it. Now, during that whole process, there wasn't really many official announcements. There's an official discussion group for Inject users, and there were threads started by various people there, and Greg was making announcements in the Inject users group, and there were a couple of things that were talked about on the Magic Cafe, but generally as a rule, it was kind of radio silence outside of that Facebook group, which you've only got access to if you've bought Inject, and obviously not everyone has Facebook. But obviously it's back up now. But over the last 2 or 3 weeks, there's been a lot of chatter in this Facebook group about a price rise for Inject. And people are saying that, Greg said on a Zoom call, or Greg said on a live, or Greg said at some point that the new version of Inject is coming out soon, or at some point, and that they're actively working on it at the moment. And when it does come out, there is going to be a significant price increase. Now, people have got into their heads £800, and that's how much it's going to be. So the new Inject is going to be £800. That has never been confirmed or denied. There's people sharing Facebook screen captures of Greg saying it's £800. Then other people are saying that that's faked. And there's a lot of back and forth at the moment. And there's a lot of people that are asking questions. They're uncertain about what's going on, because from their point of view, they paid for Inject and they've developed routines. There's some people that have Inject and it's a big part of their act. Without Inject, their stage show, for example, might not work as they've intended it to work. And first of all, they were worried if they were ever going to be able to have it in their stage show, because obviously it went down and back up and down and back up. And now there's an element of uncertainty as to what the future holds with Inject. Is it going to be an upgrade? What about the people that have Inject? Are they going to be grandfathered into the new Inject, or is there going to be an upgrade fee? Are they going to have to pay more? The original Inject is still available in Magic shops, so you can still buy it right now. There's some people that are unhappy with regards to that, because it's the ad copy hasn't changed. So it mentions the features that are no longer accessible with the Inject as it stands at the moment. But the people that buy Inject, are they going to be immediately put into the new version when it comes out? Is everyone going to be expected to pay for a new version? Is Inject 2 going to be a different thing? What extra functionality are there going to be? What promises or guarantees are there going to be that when the new version of Inject comes out, that's not going to go down as well? There's a lot of questions that people have, and there's not really many answers coming about this new Inject. There's been several posts and several threads that have been made, and all that Greg has said every single time that a new thread is brought out is, and I've wrote it down so I don't get it wrong, more details as we get closer to the official release of the new Inject. So there's a big thread where people are saying, is it going to be £800? Is it not? And Greg says more details as we get closer to the original release of the new Inject. And then people have said, yeah, but can you tell us, is there going to be a price increase? Is there this? And he just repeats the same statement. So it's obvious that Greg's not wanting to tell people anything. And there's a lot of people that are uncertain about what's going on. There's a lot of gossiping going on. There's a lot of people are taking two sides in the Inject community. Some people are just like, in Greg we trust, and we trust in him completely. He built the original Inject. It's been such a mainstay of people's acts for so long that we completely trust him, and we can imagine he's working very, very hard behind the scenes in order to make this new version of Inject the best it can be. While other people are saying, well, yeah, I totally get that, but the problem is, what guarantees have we got if we're spending this sort of money that it's not going to be taken down again? Why aren't we going to get why can't we get a rough ballpark of what the price is going to be? Why can't you let us know how things are going to work? Are we going to be grandfathered in or not? There's been no communication earlier on in terms of it being taken down and put back up. There's two sides, right? And I think the cause of this is a lack of communication, and that's what I alluded to earlier on. That's an issue with this, which is it's a total lack of communication. As somebody who runs a business, for me, one of the most important aspects of running a business is making sure that you have great communication in every aspect of running a business. You've got to have great communication with your staff, with your contractors. You're going to have great communication with your customers, with your clients, with your vendors. You've got to have great customer service, you've got to have great communication with everybody. It's really, really important, because if people feel like they're being ignored, it will escalate. Case in point, there was somebody who complained about a certain aspect of one of the shows that we produced, and it wasn't even a client. It was somebody who was visiting the event, and they sent in an email, and I got back to them immediately and explained the situation, and they were like, "Oh, okay, I totally understand. I didn't know that, blah blah blah," and they were fine. But if I'd have left that to fester, it would have only got worse. Think about all the times that you've been unhappy with the situation and you've tried to communicate with the business that you're unhappy with. If they just completely ignore you, it just makes matters worse. I think that one of the most important things about running a business is communication. Communication is key. And I think in this situation, things would not be as bad as they are if Greg was actually communicating with his clients and his customers. Because at the end of the day, the people that are in that Inject group, the people that own Inject, they've decided to spend money on a product, and they've spent time and effort learning that trick and routining it into their show. And it's an important part of what they do. They're nervous because they want to know what's happening moving forward. Some people aren't going to want to spend £800 on an app. I had The Stranger when it first came out. I was very happy with it. I did it several times. But when it went to however much it is, thousands of pounds for Nexus, I'm out. It wasn't that important to me to want to pay that sort of money for that particular trick. So I understand how people feel, and a little bit of communication would go a long way, even if there's nothing to report. Just, saying, hey guys, I totally understand where you're coming from. This is exactly where I'm at, or something. But I think communication is very, very important. And I think that there's a wedge that's been divided. There's been a wedge that's been kind of placed in between the Inject users. And I think that it's causing tension. And that tension would evaporate and go away. There's a lot of people that have got a lot of goodwill for Greg Rostami. And for good reason. He's done a lot for this community. And Inject has been such an important part of so many people's acts. There's a lot of people that have got goodwill for him, but he doesn't want that goodwill to evaporate and disappear. And the way to stop that happening is by communicating with people and letting people know exactly what's happening moving forward. I think that's very important. So Greg, if you're listening to this, start talking to your customers. Talking about communication, the other thing that's being chatted about in the Magic community at the moment is creators that don't go through production companies failing to deliver on products that they have bought from that production company. And over the years, there's been so many people, that this has applied to. Years gone by, it was Justin Miller. It was, in the old days, it was Daniel Madison's had this as well. Blake Voigt's had it. At the moment, a lot of people are complaining about Dan Harlan. And again, this is all down to communication. The reason I work through production companies and I will never produce anything myself is because I just know I haven't got the time or the effort or the resources to be able to put an infrastructure together that would allow me to do timely deliveries of a new product. You know, if I bought something out and 100 people bought it, that would sideline me for a couple of days, and I just haven't got those resources in place, and so I don't do it. It's as simple as that. And the problem is, I think, that there's a lot of creators, they get to a certain point, they've worked with production companies, their name has been, you know, elevated, a lot of people know who they are, they feel they've got a following of people that would buy off them directly, and so therefore they would make all of the profit, and so they start bringing stuff out themselves, and the problem, and they don't distribute it to, you know, anyone else or magic shops or magic producers. They just literally bring it out themselves, and then they realize there's a lot more to it than just selling it through their own website. Now they have to you know, like they have to do everything, and including post it out, and that's where the problem lies. And I think that a lot of these issues would go away if magic creators that market stuff themselves actually had an infrastructure to be able to deliver on the promises that they make. And I think that's very important. And it's something that's missing, if I'm being completely honest with you. So, yeah, I mean, the latest one is Dan Harlan. I'm not going to get into this. You know, there's a lot of people, again, taking sides with the whole Dan Harlan thing. There's a few people that are saying that, you know, this radio silence is no good. For those of you that don't know, Dan, you know, is writing 3 books, which is basically all of his work through his career, called the Masterworks Projects. And he pre-sold them about, you know, a couple of years ago, and said that the first book would be out October last year. Nobody saw anything, nobody heard of anything. And then he went on the Magic Cafe and said, I'm going to make things right. I'm going to be regularly posting on here. I'm going to be regularly talking to people about the Masterworks Project. And for a couple of weeks on the Magic Cafe, he did, and now he's disappeared again, and now he's nowhere to be seen. And he's not posted or anything, and a lot of the subscribers haven't received anything. And in amongst that, there was a GoFundMe thing set up for Dan for issues that he had. But, you know, which is great, you know, and a lot of the community supported him, as they should. Dan Harlan is an important part of this industry. He really is. He's an important creator, and he's given a lot to this community. But I think people that did contribute to that have been upset that, you know, they still haven't heard anything about the Masterworks projects, and you know, still nobody has heard anything, and it's going on and on and on, and now there's people talking about it and getting very, very annoyed about it. And, you know, again, it's down to communication. If Dan would just regularly communicate with these people, I think everything would be fine, but he's not communicating with people, so they're making up their own narrative. The best way to deal with this is to get ahead of it, and the best way to get ahead of it is by actually communicating with people and actually talking to people. And I don't understand why in this day and age you can't do that. Just switch on your phone, make a little video, post it everywhere. Put it on YouTube and send the link out to everybody. Then everyone will know what the situation is. I don't know why this isn't being done. I really don't understand why this isn't being done. And I think at this point, Dan is obviously needing help to get these books finished. And I think he needs to reach out to a production company who are going to give him the resources he needs to make this happen, and potentially keep him on track as well, because he's losing goodwill. And it's not just him, there's a bunch of other people that people are talking about as well, and it all boils down to the same thing, which is communication, you know. So what can I say other than, if you are a producer of magic tricks and you don't have an infrastructure in place, the worst thing that you can do is not deliver and not speak to your customers. Make sure that you're communicating, make sure everyone knows what the situation is, because then they'll be fine as long as you understand that communication is key. So there you go, guys. That's another magic news in the bag. Thank you once again for joining me on Magic TV. If you've got any magic news, let me know down below. And also, don't forget to join the Netrix. It's my online streaming platform for magicians. We've got another upload going out either this week or next week. The performances are done. We've just got to film the explanations, and I think it's some of the best stuff we've ever put on the Netrix. Bold claim, but I really do believe that. There's a triumph that I think is the best triumph that I've ever created, and that's going up on the next upload. So look out for that. I will see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV.